Question 1. What is the legal procedure for conducting a search of a suspect's vehicle in California? A. Search without warrant if probable cause is established. B. Search only with a warrant issued by a judge. C. Search without warrant if the suspect consents. D. Search without warrant if the vehicle is in a public place. Correct answer. C. Search without warrant if the suspect consents. Explanation. In California, a warrantless search of a suspect's vehicle is permissible if the suspect provides consent. However, officers must ensure that the consent is voluntary and not coerced. This is based on the Fourth Amendment to the United States Constitution and California state laws regarding search and seizure. Question 2. What is the appropriate protocol for conducting a lineup identification procedure? A. Present the suspect in a suggestive manner to ensure identification. B. Use fillers in the lineup who closely resemble the suspect. C. Provide the witness with clear instructions and avoid suggestive gestures. D. Prompt the witness to choose the suspect without careful consideration. Correct answer. C. Provide the witness with clear instructions and avoid suggestive gestures. Explanation. The appropriate protocol for conducting a lineup identification procedure involves providing the witness with clear instructions and ensuring that the lineup is not suggestive. This helps prevent wrongful identifications and ensures fairness in the identification process, aligning with best practices in law enforcement. Question 3. Mr. Rodriguez, a seasoned officer, responds to a domestic disturbance call. Upon arrival, he finds a couple arguing loudly in their front yard. What should Officer Rodriguez do first? A. Immediately separate the couple and assess the situation. B. Call for backup before intervening in the dispute. C. Attempt to calm the couple down and de-escalate the situation. D. Enter the premises to gather more information about the dispute. Correct answer. C. Attempt to calm the couple down and de-escalate the situation. Explanation. In this scenario, Officer Rodriguez should prioritize de-escalation techniques to defuse the situation and ensure the safety of all parties involved. This involves attempting to calm the couple down and establish communication to understand the nature of the dispute. Immediate separation may not be necessary if the situation can be resolved through effective communication and de-escalation. Question 4. Under what circumstances can deadly force be used by law enforcement officers in California? A. To prevent the escape of a suspect who poses a threat of serious harm. B. To protect property from theft or damage. C. To apprehend a suspect for a nonviolent offense. D. To retaliate against a suspect who resists arrest verbally. Correct answer. A. To prevent the escape of a suspect who poses a threat of serious harm. Explanation. According to California state laws and agency policies, deadly force can only be used by law enforcement officers when necessary to prevent the escape of a suspect who poses a threat of serious harm to the officer or others. This is in accordance with the legal standards established by the Supreme Court in cases such as Tennessee v. Garner. Question 5. What techniques can officers use to effectively communicate with individuals in mental health crises? A. Use forceful commands to gain compliance. B. Maintain a safe distance and avoid direct eye contact. C. Practice active listening and empathy. D. Minimize communication to prevent escalation. Correct answer. C. Practice active listening and empathy. Explanation. Effective communication with individuals in mental health crises involves practicing active listening and empathy. Officers should aim to establish rapport, demonstrate understanding, and offer support to individuals experiencing distress. Forceful commands or minimizing communication can escalate the situation and undermine efforts to resolve the crisis peacefully. Question 6. How can law enforcement agencies effectively engage with community members to address local concerns? A. Maintain a reactive approach to law enforcement activities. B. Conduct regular community meetings to gather input and feedback. C. Minimize interactions with community members to avoid conflicts. D. Implement strict enforcement measures without considering community feedback. Correct answer. B. Conduct regular community meetings to gather input and feedback. Explanation. Effective community policing involves proactive engagement with community members to identify and address local concerns collaboratively. Conducting regular community meetings provides opportunities for law enforcement agencies to gather input, build trust, and establish partnerships with community stakeholders. This approach fosters transparency, accountability, and mutual respect between law enforcement and the community. Question 7. Why is integrity important for law enforcement officers? A. It ensures compliance with agency policies. B. It enhances public trust and confidence in the police. C. It allows officers to bend the rules for personal gain. D. It facilitates career advancement within the department. Correct answer. B. It enhances public trust and confidence in the police. Explanation. Integrity is a cornerstone of ethical conduct for law enforcement officers as it enhances public trust and confidence in the police. Officers who demonstrate integrity uphold the highest ethical standards, act with honesty and transparency, and prioritize the well-being of the community they serve. Building trust with the public is essential for effective policing and maintaining law and order within communities. Question 8. How can law enforcement officers demonstrate cultural competence in their interactions with diverse communities? A. Assume that cultural differences are insignificant in law enforcement. B. Stereotype individuals based on their cultural background. C. Seek cultural awareness training and engage in self-reflection. D. Ignore cultural norms and practices during interactions. Correct answer. C. Seek cultural awareness training and engage in self-reflection. Explanation. Cultural competence in law enforcement involves recognizing and respecting the diversity of cultural backgrounds within communities. Officers can demonstrate cultural competence by seeking cultural awareness training, engaging in self-reflection, and actively learning about different cultural norms and practices. This enables officers to effectively communicate, build trust, and address the needs of diverse community members while avoiding stereotypes or biases. Question 9. What is the primary goal of coordinating with other emergency services during critical incidents? A. Establishing jurisdictional authority. B. Minimizing response time for law enforcement agencies. C. Ensuring effective resource allocation and coordination. D. Avoiding collaboration with other agencies. Correct answer. C. Ensuring effective resource allocation and coordination. Explanation. The primary goal of coordinating with other emergency services during critical incidents is to ensure effective resource allocation and coordination. This involves collaborating with agencies such as fire departments, emergency medical services, and other law enforcement agencies to address the needs of the community during emergencies. By pooling resources and expertise, agencies can optimize response efforts and enhance public safety. Question 10. Why is accurate and detailed report writing essential for law enforcement officers? A. It serves as a form of creative writing for officers. B. It helps officers avoid accountability for their actions. C. It provides a factual record of incidents for legal and administrative purposes. D. It allows officers to embellish the details of an incident to make it more dramatic. Correct answer. C. It provides a factual record of incidents for legal and administrative purposes. Explanation. Accurate and detailed report writing is essential for law enforcement officers as it provides a factual record of incidents for legal and administrative purposes. Reports serve as official documentation of events, investigations, and interactions with individuals, which can be used in court proceedings, administrative hearings, and internal reviews. Maintaining accuracy and objectivity in report writing is critical for ensuring accountability and upholding the integrity of law enforcement operations. Question 11. What is the purpose of regular physical fitness training for law enforcement officers? A. To enhance appearance and aesthetics. B. To improve overall health and wellness. C. To intimidate suspects during interactions. D. To compete in athletic competitions. Correct answer, B. To improve overall health and wellness. Explanation. Regular physical fitness training for law enforcement officers is essential to improve overall health and wellness. It helps officers maintain physical readiness for the demands of their duties, reduces the risk of injury, and enhances performance in various law enforcement tasks, including defensive tactics and emergency response. Prioritizing physical fitness contributes to the well-being and effectiveness of officers in carrying out their responsibilities. Question 12. How does critical thinking benefit law enforcement officers in their decision-making process? A. It encourages impulsive actions without considering consequences. B. It enables officers to assess situations objectively and make informed decisions. C. It relies solely on intuition and gut feelings. D. It limits officers to rigid thinking patterns. Correct answer. B. It enables officers to assess situations objectively and make informed decisions. Explanation. Critical thinking enables law enforcement officers to assess situations objectively, analyze complex information, and make informed decisions under pressure. By evaluating evidence, considering alternative perspectives, and weighing potential outcomes, officers can respond effectively to dynamic and challenging situations. Critical thinking skills are essential for problem-solving, risk assessment, and maintaining public safety. Question 13. Why are effective communication skills crucial for law enforcement officers? A. To intimidate and assert authority over individuals. B. To convey information clearly and accurately. C. To manipulate and deceive suspects during interrogations. D. To dominate conversations and control interactions. Correct answer, B. To convey information clearly and accurately. Explanation. Effective communication skills are crucial for law enforcement officers to convey information clearly and accurately. Officers must communicate effectively with diverse individuals and groups, including suspects, victims, witnesses, and community members. Clear communication promotes understanding, facilitates cooperation, and enhances trust between law enforcement and the community. It is essential for resolving conflicts, de-escalating situations, and achieving successful outcomes in law enforcement interactions. Question 14. What constitutional right protects individuals from unreasonable searches and seizures by law enforcement? A. The First Amendment right to freedom of speech. B. The Second Amendment right to bear arms. C. The Fourth Amendment right against unreasonable searches and seizures. D. The Eighth Amendment right against cruel and unusual punishment. Correct answer, C. The Fourth Amendment right against unreasonable searches and seizures. Explanation. The Fourth Amendment to the United States Constitution protects individuals from unreasonable searches and seizures by law enforcement. It requires officers to obtain warrants based on probable cause before conducting searches or seizures, except in certain exigent circumstances. Understanding the limitations on police authority established by the Fourth Amendment is essential for ensuring compliance with constitutional rights and upholding legal standards in law enforcement practices. Question 15. How does the use of body-worn cameras benefit law enforcement agencies? A. It allows officers to record private conversations without consent. B. It provides a means for officers to spy on individuals in public spaces. C. It enhances transparency and accountability in police interactions. D. It enables officers to manipulate evidence to support false claims. Correct answer. C. It enhances transparency and accountability in police interactions. Explanation. The use of body-worn cameras enhances transparency and accountability in police interactions by providing an objective record of officers' actions and interactions with the public. Body-worn camera footage can serve as valuable evidence in investigations, court proceedings, and complaints against officers. It promotes trust and legitimacy in law enforcement agencies by increasing transparency and accountability for officers' conduct while on duty. Question 16. How can environmental factors impact law enforcement operations in California? A. By influencing traffic patterns and congestion. B. By affecting visibility and surveillance capabilities. C. By creating hazards such as wildfires or earthquakes. D. By determining the jurisdictional boundaries of law enforcement agencies. Correct answer. C. By creating hazards such as wildfires or earthquakes. Explanation. Environmental factors such as wildfires or earthquakes can impact law enforcement operations in California by creating hazards that require emergency response and coordination efforts. These events may disrupt normal law enforcement activities, necessitate evacuations, and require assistance from other emergency services. Understanding the environmental challenges specific to California is essential for effective emergency preparedness and response by law enforcement agencies. Question 17. What strategies can law enforcement agencies employ to address gang-related activity in communities? A. Ignore gang-related activity to avoid confrontation. B. Implement community policing initiatives to build trust and gather intelligence. C. Use excessive force to intimidate gang members into compliance. D. Form alliances with gang leaders to maintain peace in neighborhoods. Correct answer. B. Implement community policing initiatives to build trust and gather intelligence. Explanation. Law enforcement agencies can address gang-related activity in communities by implementing community policing initiatives to build trust and gather intelligence. Community policing involves collaborating with community members to identify and address underlying issues contributing to gang violence, such as poverty, lack of opportunities, and social disorganization. By engaging with residents and stakeholders, agencies can develop targeted strategies to prevent gang activity, disrupt criminal networks, and enhance public safety. Question 18. What steps should officers take when investigating a traffic accident in California? A. Ignore minor accidents and focus on major collisions. B. Immediately assign blame to one of the involved parties. C. Document the scene, collect evidence, and interview witnesses. D. Issue citations without conducting a thorough investigation. Correct answer. C. Document the scene, collect evidence, and interview witnesses. Explanation. When investigating a traffic accident in California, officers should document the scene, collect evidence, and interview witnesses to establish the cause and circumstances of the collision. Thorough investigation techniques, such as measuring skid marks, taking photographs, and obtaining statements from involved parties, help determine liability and ensure accurate reporting of the incident. This approach aligns with best practices for traffic accident investigation and contributes to the prevention of future collisions. Question 19. What safety protocols should officers follow when handling firearms? A. Keep firearms loaded and ready at all times. B. Point firearms at anyone who appears suspicious. C. Treat every firearm as if it is loaded and keep fingers off the trigger until ready to shoot. D. Disregard firearm safety rules during high-stress situations. Correct answer. C. Treat every firearm as if it is loaded and keep fingers off the trigger until ready to shoot. Explanation. Officers should follow safety protocols when handling firearms, including treating every firearm as if it is loaded and keeping fingers off the trigger until ready to shoot. These rules help prevent accidental discharges and ensure the safety of officers and others in the vicinity. Firearms should be handled responsibly and in accordance with agency policies and training standards to minimize the risk of injury or harm during law enforcement operations. Question 20. Under California state law, what is required for an arrest to be considered lawful? A. A verbal warning issued by the arresting officer. B. Probable cause to believe the individual has committed a crime. C. A signed confession from the suspect. D. The presence of multiple witnesses to the alleged offense. Correct answer. B. Probable cause to believe the individual has committed a crime. Explanation. Under California state law, a lawful arrest requires probable cause, which is a reasonable belief that the individual has committed a crime. Probable cause may be based on observations by the arresting officer, witness statements, physical evidence, or other factors indicating criminal activity. A verbal warning or signed confession is not sufficient on its own to justify an arrest without probable cause. This legal standard is established to protect individuals' rights against arbitrary or unjustified arrests by law enforcement. Question 21. What role does the grand jury serve in the California criminal justice system? A. Determining guilt or innocence in criminal trials. B. Issuing arrest warrants for suspected individuals. C. Reviewing evidence to determine if there is probable cause for indictment. D. Overseeing plea negotiations between prosecutors and defendants. Correct answer. C. Reviewing evidence to determine if there is probable cause for indictment. Explanation. In the California criminal justice system, the grand jury serves the role of reviewing evidence presented by prosecutors to determine if there is probable cause to indict a suspect and proceed to trial. Unlike trial juries, grand juries do not determine guilt or innocence but assess whether there is sufficient evidence to warrant formal charges against the accused. This process helps safeguard individuals' rights and ensures the integrity of the criminal justice process. Question 22. When is the use of deadly force justified under California law? A. To apprehend a suspect for a minor offense. B. To prevent the escape of a suspect who poses a threat of serious harm. C. To punish individuals for resisting arrest. D. To enforce compliance with verbal commands. Correct answer. B. To prevent the escape of a suspect who poses a threat of serious harm. Explanation. Under California law, the use of deadly force by law enforcement officers is justified when necessary to prevent the escape of a suspect who poses a threat of serious harm to the officer or others. This standard, established by legal precedent and agency policies, is aimed at protecting public safety while balancing the rights of individuals. Officers are trained to use deadly force as a last resort when no other reasonable alternatives are available to address an imminent threat. Question 23. What strategies can officers employ to de-escalate a volatile situation involving an emotionally distressed individual? A. Use aggressive language and gestures to assert authority. B. Limit communication to directives without acknowledging the individual's emotions. C. Maintain a calm demeanor, actively listen, and offer empathy and support. D. Threaten punitive action to compel compliance. Correct answer. C. Maintain a calm demeanor, actively listen, and offer empathy and support. Explanation. To de-escalate a volatile situation involving an emotionally distressed individual, officers should maintain a calm demeanor, actively listen to the individual's concerns, and offer empathy and support. Using aggressive tactics or threats can exacerbate the situation and escalate tensions. By demonstrating empathy and offering support, officers can establish rapport, build trust, and help the individual regain control of their emotions, leading to a peaceful resolution of the crisis. Question 24. How can law enforcement agencies build trust and legitimacy within communities through community-oriented policing? A. By implementing discriminatory practices to target specific demographic groups. B. By prioritizing enforcement actions over community engagement and collaboration. C. By fostering positive relationships, addressing community concerns, and involving residents in decision-making. D. By excluding community members from participating in policing activities. Correct answer. C. By fostering positive relationships, addressing community concerns, and involving residents in decision-making. Explanation. Law enforcement agencies can build trust and legitimacy within communities through community-oriented policing by fostering positive relationships, addressing community concerns, and involving residents in decision-making processes. This approach emphasizes collaboration, problem-solving, and partnership between police officers and community members to address public safety issues collectively. By actively engaging with residents, agencies can enhance trust, transparency, and cooperation, leading to safer and more resilient communities. Question 25. Why is it important for law enforcement officers to adhere to ethical standards and codes of conduct? A. To avoid disciplinary actions and negative consequences. B. To gain personal benefits and advantages within the department. C. To maintain public trust and confidence in the police. D. To exploit their authority for personal gain. Correct answer. C. To maintain public trust and confidence in the police. Explanation. Adhering to ethical standards and codes of conduct is important for law enforcement officers to maintain public trust and confidence in the police. Ethical conduct demonstrates integrity, honesty, and accountability, which are essential for effective policing and upholding the rule of law. By adhering to ethical principles, officers promote transparency, fairness, and respect in their interactions with the community, contributing to positive police-community relations and public safety. Question 26. How can law enforcement officers mitigate the impact of cultural differences during interactions with diverse communities? A. By enforcing uniform standards without considering cultural context. B. By stereotyping individuals based on their cultural background. C. By recognizing and respecting cultural norms and practices. D. By excluding individuals from certain communities from law enforcement services. Correct answer. C. By recognizing and respecting cultural norms and practices. Explanation. Law enforcement officers can mitigate the impact of cultural differences during interactions with diverse communities by recognizing and respecting cultural norms and practices. This involves understanding the cultural background of individuals, acknowledging diversity, and adapting communication styles and approaches to accommodate cultural differences. By demonstrating cultural competence, officers can build trust, enhance communication, and effectively address the needs of diverse community members while upholding the principles of fairness and justice. Question 27. How can law enforcement agencies effectively coordinate with other emergency services during large-scale incidents or disasters? A. By prioritizing individual agency goals over collaborative efforts. B. By establishing clear communication channels and protocols for information sharing. C. By withholding critical information to maintain a competitive advantage. D. By avoiding joint response efforts to minimize liability. Correct answer. B. By establishing clear communication channels and protocols for information sharing. Explanation. Law enforcement agencies can effectively coordinate with other emergency services during large-scale incidents or disasters by establishing clear communication channels and protocols for information sharing. Collaboration and coordination among agencies are essential for maximizing resources, minimizing duplication of efforts, and ensuring a unified response to emergencies. By sharing information and resources, agencies can enhance situational awareness, improve decision-making, and provide timely assistance to those in need. Question 28. What are the consequences of inaccurate or incomplete documentation in law enforcement reports? A. It enhances transparency and accountability. B. It facilitates effective communication between agencies. C. It undermines the credibility of officers and may lead to legal challenges. D. It encourages officers to exaggerate details to enhance the narrative. Correct answer. C. It undermines the credibility of officers and may lead to legal challenges. Explanation. Inaccurate or incomplete documentation in law enforcement reports undermines the credibility of officers and may lead to legal challenges. Reports serve as official records of incidents, investigations, and interactions with individuals, which may be used in court proceedings, administrative hearings, or internal reviews. Inaccurate or incomplete information can compromise the integrity of the report, impede investigations, and erode public trust in law enforcement. Therefore, maintaining accuracy and thoroughness in report writing is essential for upholding professionalism and accountability in law enforcement operations. Question 29. How do Miranda rights protect individuals during police interrogations? A. By allowing officers to use coercive tactics to obtain confessions. B. By requiring officers to provide suspects with a warning of their constitutional rights. C. By permitting officers to interrogate suspects without legal representation. D. By exempting officers from obtaining search warrants before conducting interrogations. Correct answer. B. By requiring officers to provide suspects with a warning of their constitutional rights. Explanation. Miranda rights protect individuals during police interrogations by requiring officers to provide suspects with a warning of their constitutional rights, including the right to remain silent and the right to legal representation. This warning informs individuals of their rights against self-incrimination and ensures that any statements made during interrogation are voluntary and not coerced. Miranda rights safeguard individuals' Fifth Amendment protections and promote fairness in the criminal justice system by upholding due process rights. Question 30. How can law enforcement agencies ensure the ethical use of technology tools such as surveillance systems or data analytics? A. By monitoring individuals' private communications without consent. B. By sharing sensitive data with unauthorized parties. C. By establishing clear policies and procedures for the lawful and responsible use of technology. D. By manipulating data to support predetermined outcomes. Correct answer. C. By establishing clear policies and procedures for the lawful and responsible use of technology. Explanation. Law enforcement agencies can ensure the ethical use of technology tools such as surveillance systems or data analytics by establishing clear policies and procedures for their lawful and responsible use. Ethical guidelines should outline the permissible scope of technology use, data collection methods, privacy protections, and oversight mechanisms to safeguard individuals' rights and prevent abuse or misuse of technology. By adhering to ethical standards and legal requirements, agencies can uphold public trust, protect civil liberties, and promote accountability in the use of technology for law enforcement purposes.